Hey guys, it's Kyle Thompson here with eXp Realty, bringing you another monthly market update, and today we're going to be focusing on apartments. Let's dive right in. Okay, let's start off with the market conditions. When using the monthly supply of inventory method, we come in at 8.47 months, which is firmly into a buyer's market. If we use the sales to new list ratio instead, we come in at 42%, which is technically in a neutral market, but leaning towards buyers. So of the main property types, detached homes, apartments, and townhomes, apartments are by far the softest for the sellers, but that means that there is more opportunities for buyers. Now let's take a look at the market activity. Month over month, new listings actually fell from 50 down to 47. New sales ticked up from 15 up to 20, and expireds rose from 4 to 7. The median price for a home or for an apartment rose $13,000 from 390 up to 403,000 month over month. So although sales are ticking up and new inventory has been relatively flat, because there is so much inventory, this until that markedly changes, it is going to continue to be a buyer's market. Now let's move over to the inventory. Last month, we ended the month with an inventory of 175 units, which is the highest for this time of the year over the past decade. Currently, we're sitting 30% above the trailing 10-year average of 134, and we're tracking just shy of 13% above where we were this time last year. Now, let's take a look at new listings. So far, year to date, there's been 158, which is just over 3% higher than we were this time last year, and 14% higher than the trailing 10-year average of 138. If we take a look at sales instead, we see that so far year to date, there's only been 51, which is the lowest in a decade, and we are trending about 36% below the trailing 10-year average of 80 for this time of year, and we are even tracking 20% behind where we were this time last year. Now let's move on to pricing. The median price for a home for an apartment last month was 403,000, which is down about 7,000, so around 2% from where we were this time last year. So year over year, prices for apartments have remained relatively stable. If we look at prices by sub area, this table is full year over full year, and when looked at that way, prices are down just over 2.5% from 385,000 down to 375,000 in aggregate. If we take a look at the sub areas, we see that Juniper, Pineview, and Valley View are the most expensive areas currently, ranging from 480,000 up to 583,800. And the cheapest areas of town are South Cam, Brock, and North Shore, all with a median sale price below at 343,500 or below. Now let's move on to average sale to list ratio. Man, my words today. Last month, the sales to list price ratio fell 0.3%, meaning that there's slightly more room to negotiate when you are the buyer. However, currently we are sitting about 0.6% above the trailing 12-month average of 96.23. Finally, let's take a look at days on market, starting off with the 10-year. So far, year to date, it's taken an average of 85 days for apartments to sell, which is the second highest over the past decade. And currently, we're trending about 3.5% above where we were this time last year. However, we are trending about 31% above the trailing 10-year average of just shy of 65. Now, let's take a look at the trailing 12-month average instead. Last month, average days on market rose, one day? Yeah, from 74 up to 75, which is a 1.35% increase, and we're just shy of 6% above the trailing 12-month average of 71. Let's finish this off with looking at days on market by sub area. So currently the fastest selling areas in town are Dufferin, Pineview, and Aberdeen, all with an average days on market of 40 or less. However, Dufferin only has 2 sales, so take that with a grain of salt. However, the areas taking longest to sell are Sun Rivers, Juniper, and Sun Peaks, all with an average days on market of 68 up to 141. That's all we have for today. I really hope that you guys are continuing to get value of these market updates. If you are, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And if you ever want anything added to these updates, or maybe something needs to be more thoroughly explained, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll get to them as soon as I am able. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.